Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to Nine Nar Trees podcast. Today, I will summarize and review the book, Moving Through Parallel Worlds. To Achieve Your Dreams by Kevin L. Michel presents a motivational, metaphysical framework for personal change built around the idea that you can shift your lived experience by shifting your inner state. Positioned as an epic guide to unlimited power, the book blends self-help encouragement with New Age concepts such as parallel realities, intention, and vibrational alignment. Rather than treating success as only a product of external effort, it emphasizes how beliefs, emotions, and focus shape the options you notice and the choices you make. The author frames dreaming big as a practical discipline: clarify what you want, remove internal resistance, and cultivate habits that keep you aligned with the version of life you are trying to reach. Readers can expect an upbeat tone, repeated reminders to take responsibility for outcomes, and exercises aimed at strengthening visualization, confidence, and persistence. The core promise is not instant magic, but a mindset shift that supports decisive action and long-term momentum. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, parallel worlds as a model for personal transformation. A central topic is the use of parallel worlds as a mental model for change. In this framing, your desired future is not a distant fantasy, but a nearby possibility that becomes accessible when your identity, expectations, and daily decisions match it. Whether or not a reader takes parallel realities literally, the concept functions as a powerful reframe. You stop asking whether the dream is possible in general and start asking what version of you already lives that life. The book encourages thinking in terms of shifts rather than struggles, emphasizing that small internal adjustments can produce large external differences over time. This model also helps explain why repeating the same habits yields the same outcomes, and why new results require a new baseline of thinking and behaving. It points readers toward experimentation, curiosity, and flexibility, because moving toward a different outcome often means letting go of familiar limitations. The parallel worlds theme supports resilience as well. Setbacks are treated as feedback about alignment, not as final verdicts about your potential. Secondly, clarity and intention, defining the dream with precision. Another major focus is the discipline of clarifying what you want and holding it with intention. The book stresses that vague goals create vague results, while specific aims guide attention and decision-making. Readers are encouraged to articulate their dreams in concrete terms, including what success looks like, how it would feel, and what it would change in everyday life. This is not only motivational, it also highlights a practical psychological mechanism. When you name a target, you begin to notice relevant opportunities, resources, and relationships that previously blended into the background. Intention is presented as an ongoing practice rather than a one-time wish. That means revisiting goals, refining them as you learn, and maintaining focus when distractions and doubts arise. The book also links intention to commitment, suggesting that you cannot drift into a transformed life without choosing it repeatedly. In this view, clarity becomes a filter for actions, helping readers say no to paths that do not serve the outcome and yes to steps that build momentum. Thirdly, beliefs and emotions, removing inner resistance. The book highlights how internal resistance can block progress even when a person appears motivated. Limiting beliefs, fear of failure, fear of success, and unresolved self-doubt are treated as forces that keep you anchored to an old version of reality. The author's approach emphasizes self-examination, noticing the stories you repeat, identifying what you assume you deserve, and recognizing emotional patterns that sabotage follow-through. Emotions are not framed as enemies, but as signals that indicate where misalignment or insecurity exists. The theme of unlimited power is tied to the idea that changing your inner narrative changes your sense of what is possible, which then changes what you attempt and persist with. Readers are guided toward replacing self-defeating assumptions with empowering ones and practicing emotional regulation so that anxiety or discouragement does not dictate behavior. This topic also reinforces personal responsibility, not as blame, but as agency. If beliefs and feelings influence outcomes, then working with them becomes a practical route to freedom and better results. Fourthly, visualization and focus, training attention toward the desired reality. A practical emphasis of the book is the use of visualization and focused attention to support goal achievement. The method is framed as more than daydreaming. It is a way to rehearse identity, strengthen motivation, and prime the mind to recognize next steps. By repeatedly imagining the desired outcome, readers can clarify what they truly want, build emotional familiarity with success, and reduce the shock that sometimes accompanies major positive change. The book connects focus with consistency, arguing that attention leaks into distractions and doubts unless it is trained. Visualization practices often pair naturally with affirmations, mental rehearsal, and deliberate focus routines such as journaling or quiet reflection. The point is to keep the dream active in the mind so that daily choices align with it. Even for skeptical readers, the value can be interpreted through performance psychology. Athletes and high performers use mental practice to improve execution and confidence. In the book's broader framework, sustained focus helps you move toward the parallel world where your goal is normal rather than exceptional. Lastly, action and momentum, aligning daily habits with big outcomes. While the book leans into metaphysical language, it also underscores that results depend on action. A recurring idea is that alignment must express itself through behavior, decisions, routines, and persistence. Dreams become reachable when translated into daily steps that are small enough to execute and consistent enough to compound. This topic emphasizes momentum, suggesting that progress is often less about heroic effort and more about steady follow-through. Readers are encouraged to build habits that support the identity they want, such as learning new skills, improving health, managing time, or surrounding themselves with constructive influences. The parallel worlds metaphor can make this feel urgent and empowering. Every day you are effectively choosing which track to continue on. The book's framing also helps readers reinterpret obstacles as part of the process rather than proof of impossibility. By keeping attention on incremental wins, maintaining self-belief, and continuing to refine goals, readers can create a feedback loop where action builds confidence, confidence fuels further action, and the gap between current life and desired life narrows in practical ways. In conclusion, this book suits readers who enjoy New Age or metaphysical self-help, as well as practical dreamers who like bold frameworks that make personal change feel exciting and attainable. If you are stuck in a rut, discouraged by slow progress, or caught in repeating patterns, the Parallel Worlds idea can help you reframe your situation as a shiftable path rather than a fixed identity. The potential life benefit is increased agency, clearer goals, stronger focus, and a more deliberate relationship with beliefs and emotions that influence everyday decisions. Even if you interpret parallel realities as metaphor, the book can still support better results by pushing you to define your aim, manage inner resistance, and build consistent habits. Compared to similar motivation titles, its value is the distinctive organizing concept that ties mindset, emotion, visualization, and action into one narrative of movement between versions of life. That cohesive theme can make the advice easier to remember and apply. For buyers seeking an energizing guide that encourages both inner work and practical momentum, it offers a compelling package. If you would like to support Kevin L. Michel, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I've provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, please let me know what you think and share your thoughts. See you around.